So I'd like to give you a brief introduction to writing CSS code using Brackets. Brackets is a program that was developed by Adobe, and yet they made it open source, and so it's totally free for you to download and install on your computer, and it works on Mac or Windows or even Linux. So I'm going to work through just part of the tutorial on creating an internal style sheet and then creating an external style sheet. You can find these in the textbook in chapter 2 starting on page 29. So right here I've got brackets opened, and I've got the starter file index.html opened. And first of all, so Brackets is just a text editor. It's a very advanced text editor, but really it just shows you text. But we got this great feature, and it only works right now if you have Chrome installed as your browser. But if you have Chrome installed, we can go to File and then choose Live Preview. And then what that does is it opens your web page in Chrome so you can actually see a preview of it. Now I'm going to actually try to dock these together so you can see both at the same time. So on the left we've got the Brackets view, and on the right we've got the Chrome view. This is what your web page actually looks like. And I'm going to start following the instructions on page 29 for creating an internal style sheet. So to do an internal style sheet, we need to add some style HTML tags. So we'll do that after head. See, Brackets helps you out and says, ooh, I think you are trying to type style, so I'll help you. So there's our tags. I just typed the first style tag, and it automatically added the second style tag. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm going to move those there. And now we can type CSS code inside these style tags. So that was basically steps 1 and 2. So now it says type H1. We're going to do a style for our heading. Notice that I typed an opening curly brace and it automatically added the closing one. Another great feature of this editor. And now for step 5, it says to add the following style. So we're going to say color, and then we're going to use a number, and the book says to use 6A94CC. For you techie nerds, that's actually a hexadecimal number. Hexadecimal. It's a binary code. Basically, the first 2 are for red, the second 2 are for green, and the third 2 are for blue. And so it specifies a color, and oh look, Brackets actually gives you a preview of what the color is going to look like. So you type that in there. Now watch what happens when I go and save it. I'm going to do File, Save, and look over here. So as soon as I saved it, Brackets told Chrome to update it in the browser. So now I've got a view of what the effect of my style was. So let's go on to actually I'm just going to jump ahead to step 8, and we'll add a style for some styles for paragraph. So we'll do P as our selector. And then, let's see, the textbook says to use font size 1.25 M. So that's 1.25 times the default size, basically. And it recommends a color. You can do whatever color you want. The book recommends 616161. And let's see, it says line height. I'm just following step 8 in the textbook. 150%. And we'll just go with that. I'm going to save it again. I'm going to do Control S this time, the shortcut. If you're on a Mac, it's Command S. And notice that as soon as I save it, it updates in the Chrome window. So pretty cool. Now let's take this a step further. I'm going to jump ahead again. We'll go forward a few pages in the tutorial to the external style sheet. So I'm going to create a new file. So go to File, New, and right away I'm going to save it. I'll save it and we'll call it Style or styles.css. Click Save. And first off, I'm going to go to index.html. And I'm going to copy these styles that I wrote. I'm going to cut them out of there. And then I'm going to paste them into the CSS document. Adjust the formatting a little bit. And just for good measure, we're going to remove the style tags. We don't need those anymore now that we have an external CSS file. What we do need is we need to tell the browser about our CSS files. So we need to, instead of having a style tag, we need to add a link tag. So link, and then we need to write href, and then we need to tell it the name of our style sheet. Again, brackets helps us out. It suggests, maybe you want to use one of these files, and yes, I want to use styles.css, so I'll click that. And then you need one more thing at least to make it work. You need a rel. Rel is like relation. How is this related to what we're doing? And then this is a style sheet. And then you do have to save it. So now, instead of having our CSS commands in the HTML, we have them in an external style sheet called styles.css. Alright, so if you thought that it was cool that Chrome updated with you before, check it out now that we're using an external style sheet. So I'm going to let's type another command. Let's add a rule. I'm going to follow the textbook. On page 33, there's a rule for HTML. And then we'll do a couple styles in there. Do padding top, 25 pixels. And background image, and we'll say URL, and again brackets helps us, images, and we'll choose background page. Look at that. So I didn't even have to save it this time. So when you're working with an external CSS file, the updates are instantaneous, so you can immediately see the effects of your CSS code update in Chrome. So this is a great feature of brackets in that you get that immediate feedback. A lot of people like Dreamweaver because it also gives you this sort of two-windowed feedback, but the thing with Dreamweaver is you're still previewing it in Dreamweaver and not in the actual browser, so it could still be a little different once you look at it in the browser. And then, of course, the other thing with Dreamweaver is that it costs you $19.99 a month, whereas Brackets and Chrome are free. So use whatever you are the most comfortable with, but I think this real-time feedback is really helpful, especially as you're learning CSS code. Here, I'll add another rule for body, and we'll say width 80%, and we'll say padding 20 pixels. Yeah, it's just really useful to immediately see the results of the code you type. It just kind of creates that visual link to the code that you're typing. So use whatever editor you want, but this is just a little introduction to Brackets and Chrome just to show you how simple and how powerful they are.